The film begins with the best scientists coming together to begin a year-long secret experiment on the transformation of Jin. In this experiment, several mutants were created, and the main character Joyeon stood out above all others. At the age of 8, was considered a Class S subject with a surprising IQ. In a quick image sorting test, he even outsmarted computers, discovering hidden cards in just 2 seconds. But not only that, he also possessed extraordinary sensory abilities, which gave him the ability to sense impending danger and generate telekinetic power to control objects with his mind. With his mental powers, he could break things apart and reassemble them, shaping them to his will. To further enhance his fighting skills, Dr. Beck's violent Jins from notorious killers. But the results were beyond expectations, and Joyeon's power became so strong that it frightened his superiors. In the end, superiors ordered him to stop the experiment and exterminate all the test subjects. But they did not expect Joyeon's extraordinary sensory abilities. When he sensed danger, he went completely mad, quickly killing everyone who stood in his way inside the laboratory. By the time reinforcements arrived, the entire facility had been destroyed and Joyeon had escaped. But he lost consciousness in a field far from the city. Fortunately, a kind-hearted farmer couple found him and rescued him. The doctors discovered that Joyeon had lost all of his memories due to severe trauma. The farmer couple, who had lost their missing child, considered him their own missing child and showered him with love and care. Years passed, and at the age of 18, Joyeon grew up to be a loving and obedient daughter to the couple. She helped them manage the farm, but due to the failure of the business and the condition of her mother who was suffering from Alzheimer's due to loneliness and old age, Joyeon was desperate to lighten their burden. One day, her best friend told her about a local talent contest where the winner would receive a huge prize. These were the failure of the business and the condition of her mother, who had a prize of 500 million won. Due to Joyeon's impressive academic record and her natural talent for singing, her friend encouraged her to participate. When Joyeon sang on stage, the audience was captivated, revealing her hidden talent under her seemingly ordinary appearance. She immediately won everyone's hearts. When the host asked him if he had any other talents, he amazed the crowd with his David Copperfield-like ability to control things with his mind that earned him the win and a place in the finals. With his extraordinary talent, Joyeon is impossible to ignore, and his journey is just beginning. However, when his adoptive parents saw him display his strange power on stage, his father's expression became serious. Parents who raised him knew that what he had shown was not just magic, but a power beyond that of a normal person. In fact, the mysterious deaths of cows and sheep on their farm over the years had already given his father suspicions that Joyeon was not an ordinary child. Before he even landed on the farm, he collapsed there covered in blood. They were worried that Joyeon's power might be revealed and bring disaster to their family. Although Joyeon insisted that he was fine, he had been experiencing severe headaches for the past 6 months and had been hearing strange sounds from faraway places. But in order not to worry his family, he endured it quietly. On his adventure to the finals, he encountered a strange sound that worried his family. The man immediately approached her, introduced himself as a longtime acquaintance, and asked if she remembered him. At first, Joyeon thought it was just a human error and ignored him, until the man suddenly tested him. The man was amazed by her reaction. He left for a while. On his way out, he bumped into a stranger. This made him very angry. Meanwhile, Joyeon continued to shine on the national final stage, easily winning the championship. When he and his best friend were on their way home, a group of mysterious men dressed in black suddenly appeared and tried to forcefully take Joyeon. Fortunately, The people around them helped them escape. At this point, Jion realized that since the competition began, strange things had been happening, and mysterious people had been appearing one after another. When they returned to their small town, the man named Nobleman reappeared and threatened him to go home and check something. Jion immediately rushed home, worried, but only found his father and his best friend's father relaxing while playing chess. He breathed a sigh of relief and temporarily put aside his fears. Unknown to them, Nobleman and his group were not ordinary people. They were mutants also created by Dr. Beck. After Joyon revealed his supernatural abilities to the public, he was immediately recognized by Dr. Beck, who had been looking for him for a long time as his most important Class S experiment. He immediately sent Nanubulman and his team to return Joyon unharmed. However, Mr. Choi, the company's designated cleanup specialist, strongly objected. Although he and Dr. Beck both work for the same company, they are in different departments and have long been at odds. A few years ago, the bloody incident caused by Joyon was handled by Mr. Choi, and he was fully aware of the danger Joyon brought. He always advocated for the removal of patients who were no longer under control. But Dr. Beck, confident in his position as a special favor from headquarters, ignored Mr. Choi's warnings. He secretly ordered Nobleman and his group to kill everyone involved in the project. In this move, Mr. Choi realized that Dr. Beck was trying to cover up the secret that was putting their lives in danger. He decided to take his own step and kidnap Jion to balance the power against headquarters. One night, while Jion was suffering from a severe headache, he felt someone enter their house. When he came out, he found a gun pointed at him while his best friend was held to the neck with a knife, surrounded by armed men in black. Their leader, a man with a scar on his face, pointed to his wound and told Jion that he had almost died at Jion's hands before. Convinced that he was the Gorwich he had been looking for so long. Confused and desperate, Jion pleaded that he knew nothing of what he was saying. When the scarred man saw that he was not confessing, he ordered his men to arrest Jion's best friend. In a time of crisis, he suddenly changed from a timid disciple to protect her family and discover her true identity. Joyon is forced to return to the research facility. Upon arriving at the facility, she is immediately taken to the laboratory. When Dr. Beck sees the return of his most important experiment, he is overjoyed and immediately orders Joyon to be injected with the latest experimental drug. It turns out that Joyon, as a perfect mutant created, has a fatal weakness. Without the right medicine, she will die of uncontrollable violence by her 18th birthday. What Dr. Beck did was to extend her life and awaken her memories. As the medicine began to take effect, Joyon's headaches worsened and Dr. Beck began to tell her about her past. Joyon is a rare S-class experiment, far superior to his peers and naturally possessing the so-called demon factor. Dr. Beck wonders how he was able to suppress his violent behavior for so long without being discovered. But after the second injection, Joyon suddenly regained consciousness and a mischievous smile appeared on his lips. It turns out that he never lost his memory and was just pretending the whole time. Dr. Beck was shocked, until Joyon calmly admitted that only Dr. Beck could cure him. And then Dr. Beck realized that Joyon had not really lost her memory. Joyon mercilessly killed the guards in the room and fired several shots at the laboratory's bulletproof glass. After ensuring the strength of the glass, he faced the glass where Dr. Beck was hiding, smiled, before completely disappearing in the smoke of the neurotoxin. Before Dr. Beck could realize what had happened, Joyon was standing behind him. Joyon's capture was just part of Joyon's plan. He carefully chose his adoptive parents as cover, and he hid in a remote farm for 10 years. But as his condition worsened, he realized that his time was running out, so he thought of Dr. Beck because he knew that only he could save him. He deliberately participated in the national competition to show his skills and get Dr. Beck's attention. And now that he had carried out his plan, he no longer needed to pretend. Dr. Beck finally understood that it was not Joyon he had found, but Joyon himself who had been targeting him for a long time. To ensure more medicine to prevent his illness, Joyon shot Dr. Beck without hesitation and dragged him away to continue searching for more medicine. Meanwhile, Nobleman senses something is wrong and rushes to help Dr. Beck, but is met by Mr. Choi and his group. Mr. Choi is experienced in fighting mutants. So Nobleman leaves 2 of his men to block the group while he himself confronts Joyon. Meanwhile, Joyon senses danger. It turns out that when he escaped a few years ago, he forgave a B-class mutant, Nobleman. Now, he has completely reached and surpassed the strength of an S-class mutant. He wants to test whether he can defeat a natural-born S-class witch. Nobleman did not expect that even though they were both S-class, the gap in strength between him and Jaeon was so huge. Jaeon knew from Paul that they were no match for him. Only Jaeon knew this in his heart. As Jaeon was about to knock Nobleman out, Mr. Choi suddenly fired and hit Jaeon's chest, temporarily paralyzing him. Mr. Choi had the opportunity to personally finish off the 2 monsters. When the tide of the battle changed, Dr. Beck was paralyzed with fear. After Nobleman regained his strength, he knew that he could not match Jaeon's strength, so he used the medicine as bait to divert his attention while secretly preparing the A-class mutant to attack. But in the face of absolute power, their plans were lost. Nobleman slowly approached Jaeon's back, but he could not fire. Under Jaeon's presence, everyone was like sheep ready to be killed. Even powerful mutants could not move. Nobleman had no choice but to wait for the witch's verdict. After eliminating all threats, Jaeon successfully obtained the remaining few bottles of medicine. But that was still not enough to prolong her life. She left some of the precious bottles for her adopted mother, because Beck's medicine showed hope against Alzheimer's disease. As Joyon was about to leave to take her foster parents away from harm, her father stopped her. He hoped she would abandon her dark path and return to a normal life. This was the hope of her adoptive parents, who believed that a child raised with love would turn out well. But Joyon did not respond. She quietly left, said goodbye to her best friend, and began her journey to find safety. Several months later, at a beach in a foreign country, a woman was reading the experiment notes when Joyon suddenly appeared. The woman in front of her was the twin sister of Dr. Beck, the true creator of the medicine. As Joyon demanded the formula, a young woman filled with a desire to kill suddenly appeared beside her. A new crisis was about to erupt. Thank you for reaching this part of the video. If you like it, please subscribe and hit notification bell. Until next time, see ya.